I caught her friends convincing her to fake a breakup to test me. When she said, "It's over," I played along. "No, please," I begged. "Who will help me pay off my secret gambling debts?" Her test came to a screeching halt as her friends looked at her in shock. I, 27, male, was grabbing takeout from our usual Thai place when I saw them through the window. Cassie, my girlfriend of 2 years, 24, bright smile, usually so level-headed, and her so-called squad, Amber, Leela, and Brooke, were orchestrating what could only be described as a full-on emotional sting operation. I should have walked away, but curiosity and maybe a hint of indignation kept me planted. I wasn't eavesdropping, at least not at first, until Amber's voice cut through the chatter. "Look, Tyler's fine. He always is. But Derek's different. You have to test him before you waste more time." My stomach sank. Test me? 2 years, 6 months living together, countless shared routines. And they were writing a script to measure my love. I could feel my jaw tighten, my palms sweating. I tried to convince myself to leave, but I couldn't. Not when they were whispering every manipulative detail. "Every step of this fake breakup drama, you tell him you need space," Brooke instructed, "and that it's not working anymore. If he begs, shows emotion, he's a keeper. If he just accepts it, he never really loved you." The audacity. My pulse spiked. They high-fived each other like they'd solved world hunger. I could practically hear Cassie's inner conflict. The plan was absurd, toxic even, yet they rationalized it as protection. Amber mentioned her sister who hadn't tested her boyfriend and found out 3 years later that he had another woman on the side. Their logic was a twisted kind of forethought. I left the taco shop, pad of notes in hand, mind spinning. I could picture the script they'd crafted, Cassie delivering a tearful, dramatic confession of doubt, my reaction meticulously judged, every quiver of emotion documented. And for what? A TikTok-inspired psychology exercise masquerading as relationship vigilance. By the time I got home, I was already planning my own counter. Laptop at the kitchen table, spreadsheets minimized, eyes darting at the door like a man about to face an ambush. When she walked in, the air shifted. "Hey babe, we need to talk," I said, my tone carefully neutral. Closing the laptop as if I'd been distracted by something urgent, Cassie froze. Phone in hand, the camera aimed at me like she was already mid-recording. The performance started immediately, flawless in execution. The shaky voice, the trembling hands, the pauses loaded with calculated emotion. "I've been thinking. I need space. I don't think this is working anymore." I let the silence stretch, my best devastated face on. No, please. You can't do this now," I stammered. My words hung in the air, and I watched as her eyes flickered with triumph. The script was working. Until it wasn't. And who's going to help me pay off my gambling debts? I added, voice breaking, leaning forward as if revealing a secret too heavy to bear. Record scratch moment. The color drained from her face. Confusion replaced calculated sadness. "Wait, what?" I took a deep breath, steadying myself as if this was the first time I'd admitted anything real. $47,000. I didn't want to tell you yet, but I've been sinking deeper for months. Online poker. Started small. Just a few bets here and there. Her phone wavered in her grip. The meticulously rehearsed tears faltered into genuine shock. This wasn't the emotional begging session her friends had promised. This was real, messy, chaotic, and completely unplanned. And somewhere deep down, I realized the game had shifted. I wasn't just following a script, they were the ones about to get schooled. Cassie's expression shifted from shock to panic, and I could see her friend's influence crumbling in real time. "What, $47,000? She stammered, voice trembling. "Gambling, that's insane." I nodded gravely. "I know." I tried to keep it contained. "I didn't want to drag you into it, but now it's all out. And if we break up, your Netflix account gets frozen. Yeah. I've been using it for my poker platforms. Don't ask, just trust me on that one." Her grip on the phone tightened, and for a second I thought she might drop it. The performance she'd rehearsed with Amber, Brooke, and Leela was slipping through her fingers. "You're joking, right? This isn't part of the test." I leaned forward, voice low and serious. "No, Cassie, this is the reality you never expected. The debts, the bed bugs in your bedroom from my cousin's place, the gym bag everything. And yes, I may have told my mom we're engaged. She's already paid deposits for next summer. Non-refundable. Her face paled, and the phone wobbled in her hand. Engaged. You didn't. We weren't. Wait, what? Relax, we're not, I said, almost with a hint of humor, though my eyes stayed locked on hers. But it shows the point. I'm being real, raw, not some scripted performance like your friends planned. I watched as she tried to recalibrate, throwing in small bursts of panic, trying to regain control. Okay, but the marathon. You can't just. I cut her off. Yes, the marathon. I signed us up. $500 entrance fee. Kyle already made team shirts with our faces. That's the only organized chaos you're allowed to complain about. The door burst open before I could finish, and in stormed Amber, Brooke, and Leela, the so-called Queen's squad. They looked like a discount SWAT team, scanning the room with wide eyes. Cassie, what the hell is happening? Amber barked, clearly expecting me to beg, cry, or crumble under the weight of the fake breakup. Instead, I just calmly leaned back, letting the chaos unfold. You all heard everything at the taco shop, I said evenly. Every word, every script, every manipulation tactic, the test. It failed before it even began. Cassie's hands shook, and her friends went silent, their high fives now frozen mid-air. The intricate web of control and manipulation they'd spun for months. Amber testing her ex with a fake Instagram, Brooke pretending to flirt, Leela canceling plans to test loyalty had all just imploded in a single, unplanned reveal. I could see the dawning horror in Cassie's eyes as she realized this wasn't a game I was going to play. Her meticulously rehearsed tears and shaky script meant nothing. Against reality, the truth had a way of cutting through even the most theatrical of lies. I methodically began packing my things, my actions deliberate, calm, and without spite. Clothes, electronics, documents. I left what was shared between us, but everything I owned went into boxes. A note, sure, short, firm, your things are safe. Apartment is covered through the month. Build your own empire. P.S. Netflix password changed. By now, Cassie's friends were whispering amongst themselves, pale and flustered. Amber whispered, This isn't what we planned. No, I said, voice calm but icy. It's exactly what reality looks like when manipulation is your strategy instead of trust. You wanted to test me. Congratulations, you tested yourself instead. And just like that, the so-called Queen's squad disintegrated under the weight of their own scheming. The fallout wasn't just personal, it was dominoes waiting to fall. Tyler, who had been tested months ago, was next. His confrontation with Amber led to her ex being exposed. One by one, the network of relationship tests began to collapse, and Cassie, she was left realizing the consequences of choosing manipulation over honesty. The next few days were surreal. Cassie's phone was a non-stop barrage of missed calls, texts, and desperate voicemails. 47 missed calls, over 100 messages, ranging from frantic apologies to veiled threats. It was just a misunderstanding, one read. You lied about gambling, that's worse. Another screamed. I screenshot every message, methodically documenting the chaos, though a small part of me still felt a pang of sympathy. By day 2, I returned to the apartment while Cassie was at work. I snooped, not proud, but necessary. Her laptop was open to a chat titled Queens Supporting Queens. Scroll after scroll revealed a network of manipulations I had only begun to suspect. Tests on previous boyfriends, fabricated scenarios, staged jealousy, all orchestrated with alarming precision. Each girl had played this game before. Each one had justified it as protection. I realized then it wasn't just Cassie. It was an entire system built on fear, control, and performative loyalty. Packing became my therapy. Clothes, electronics, shared possessions. I took only what was mine. I left notes where necessary, careful to remain calm and factual. The apartment was quiet, except for my own controlled breathing. In Cassie's nightstand, a notebook caught my eye. Relationship goals, standards, pros, cons, all written under the guidance of her friends. He should pay for everything. Test him monthly. He should beg for you. The list was absurd, juvenile even. Yet it had dictated months of stress and distrust. When I left, I felt a strange mixture of relief and sadness. I wasn't angry. I was disappointed. The women's network began to crumble under its own weight. Tyler had confronted Amber with screenshots I provided. Her denial evaporated in the face of evidence. And for the first time, she faced real consequences. Other exes, other manipulated relationships, began unraveling as my story spread. Cassie, she lost her apartment, had to move in with her sister, and had to work two jobs to cover expenses I once shared. She didn't stop trying, though. Snail mail to my parents, desperate texts, even showing up at my workplace. Security was polite but firm. 5 minutes, she begged, tears streaming. But I didn't flinch. Every day for 2 years, I had shown love, trust, patience. She had chosen a performance over authenticity. That was her decision, not mine. Over the weeks, social media became her stage for the blame game. Posts about narcissism, gaslighting, emotional abuse, all thinly veiled references to me sprouted like weeds. But the truth is harder to spin. Receipts, photos, texts, all public, all factual, quickly dismantled the narrative she tried to build. The comment sections became a battlefield, with friends and strangers alike pointing out the manipulation she'd orchestrated. Life moved on. I blocked her numbers, removed myself from the chaos, and began dating Rachel, a climbing enthusiast I met at the gym. On our third date, I recounted the entire saga. Her reaction: wait, grown adults actually do breakup tests. Middle school behavior. Exactly, Rachel, exactly. Meanwhile, the Queen's squad disbanded. Amber moved back in with her parents. Brooke deleted social media after backlash. Leela joined another toxic circle. And Cassie? She still posts inspirational quotes, claiming growth, healing, and lessons learned. I see her words and can't help but smirk. The universe removed me from her life. Yes, but more importantly, it exposed the truth. As Garrett, my buddy, put it over beers last week, she really thought you'd beg for someone faking a breakup? Like, you don't have options, bro. You just have standards. And he was right. Standards over games. Trust over scripts. Love over manipulation. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. In this case, the prize was clarity, freedom, and a life unshackled from toxicity. No regrets. No looking back. No begging. Just living authentically and watching the dominoes of deception fall behind me.